Now you can. Power. Now I have the power. You know, I was really thinking when I was going to give a presentation tonight, I was like, what should I talk about? So one day I woke up and I was praying, and it came to me. So that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Power means being authentic, knowing your worth, learning to speak up, and empower others. That's what power means to me. So I decided to talk about that. You know, everyone is on that journey of personal power in their life. I'm talking when you were itty bitty, remember when you were little? Some of us were encouraged to go on that journey, and others came from homes or situations where our personal power was just squashed, or at times we were told we were too much, and we needed to behave or do as we were told. So I grew up where others made decisions for me, and I didn't get to speak up. I know anybody that meets me is surprised, but no, I did not. I was told I needed to be quiet and only speak when spoken to. There was one way to do something. That was our way. That's how we need to do it. So I listened, I obeyed, and I grew up putting everyone else's needs first and doing what I could for others. I felt I had to earn love, you know? Love was not understood or unconditional. I would be loved if I did what I was told and I pleased others along the way. So that's what I tried to do. And I got married when I was 18, and I didn't know how to speak up or even make a decision. And you know my ex-husband used that against me, right? He used that for his own power because I didn't know my own personal power. When I was 20 and going through a divorce, I left my abusive ex-husband, and I didn't know how to make decisions. I had a one-year-old. I had a one-year-old child. I was 20 years old and had an 18-month-old trying to go to school, figure out whatever, but I didn't know how to make decisions because everybody made them for me. And I was terrified of decisions. I didn't even know if I'd make the right ones. And I didn't know how to speak up for myself. And I lacked so much confidence and so much self-esteem. I love people, and I wanted everybody to like me. Do you know, till I was 40, I thought I could get everybody to like me? You can't get everybody to like you. And did you know that everybody does not like Sherry Berger? And you know what? That's okay. I'm good with that now. But I didn't know what I don't know. So I love people, and I want everyone to like me, and I wanted to do what was right, and I wanted to please others. But I realized one day that I just was not being my true, authentic self. And that was pretty sad when I realized that. I didn't know how to speak up for myself or others, or just didn't know. I worked hard to be what I thought my parents wanted me to be. I worked hard to be what my spouse wanted me to be. I worked hard to be what my friends wanted me to be. Not that doing for others is wrong. And no, I was not a bad child. For a matter of fact, I lived by the rules because that meant people would love you. So, and it's not wrong to do that, but it's wrong when you do it at the expense of not even knowing yourself. That's awful. I thought my worth was based on what others thought of me or what I could do for other people. I didn't even know who I was or who I was even supposed to be. And I feared making wrong decisions. And I waited for others to tell me how or who to be. And I felt unloved when I did not meet those expectations. And you know, when you're in that situation, you're never going to meet those expectations, no matter how hard you try. Because I tried. My job was to take care of other people. And I told you guys I'm one of 6. And I made other people happy. See, I even became a mom at 8. Worrying about my younger brother. He was a baby at the time. I wanted better for him. He's the youngest. I'm the oldest girl. I always tease and tell people I have brothers 5 and 8 years older than me. I'm sorry, brothers are useless other than scaring boyfriends away. They always make the oldest daughter do everything. So I have a little oldest, I have a little middle child in me because I'm the oldest of the 4 younger kids. and we're all stair-stepped 2 apart, just to give a little bit of background of my family. See, like I said, I wanted more for him, and that's a whole nother story in itself. But I am a nurturer, and I love supporting and helping people. Anybody that knows me knows that. And that's part of who I am. But that's not all of who I am. I'm a caregiver and a nurturer by default. I love that about myself, but not at the expense of not knowing who I am. And being a nurturer and a caregiver means that people will take advantage of you. Believe me, I know. And if you lack or you don't know boundaries, and setting boundaries and walking out of a situation takes time. And I'm still working on growing more in my personal power. Is this how we're supposed to do power? But when you grow up, where boundaries are not a priority, you really don't even understand boundaries for others or yourself. When you grow up and you feel you have to earn love and not understand true unconditional love, it makes it hard. And I remember when I first started setting boundaries and stopped letting people treat me like a doormat and stopped being a people pleaser. You know, a major event happened in my life. And when major events happen in your life, you have to change. I lost my brother in the Pentagon, 9/11. Remember September 11th? I lost my brother. My brother was, I told you I have 5 siblings. I really have 2. He's 5 years older than me. And I was pregnant and I had a baby in the middle of it all. And shortly after that, after we buried him, because he was never identified, and I got dragged out 6 months, and I was pregnant through it all, and my daughter was took 6 days early, and all of that, we got ripped off in a house that had statue botrytis mold. That's that black mold. My baby was 10 weeks old. She turned blue twice. By the way, Robin Beth, mini me, number 4 child, she's our bonus child. Nobody wants to be in an accident. But then she became high-risk pregnancy, and we almost lost her twice through that statue botrytis mold. And then after that, her and I spent 2 years at Children's Mercy. Again, that's a whole nother story. But during all this, I was married. I had 4 kids. They were 13, they were 3, they were 2, and I had a newborn. And the mom and wife and me were worried about caring for everyone else. My brother had died, and he left his wife, who was from Italy, without citizenship, and 2 young little babies. And my parents and siblings, they were struggling. And I had many people to worry about and support and care for. But remember, I grew up without boundaries. So boundaries wasn't a thing. We lost the house and had nowhere to live. I was babysitting my sister's kids so that they could go to counseling because they were struggling. I was supporting my mom and going through pictures of my brother and helping my mom because can you imagine? She was struggling. And I was worried about my kids and keeping food on the table, and we were living in a hotel. We had nowhere to live. We were still making house payments, still paying for everything, and I was dealing with attorneys in the bad house, and I was helping my sister-in-law. She became an instant single parent with 2 little babies, no citizenship, no driver's license, and whatever else she had to deal with. I was helping her. Yes, she was in Washington, D.C. I was here. I was translating. She couldn't even speak that great of English. And I was worried about all the stress that my poor husband had on him. And so I was supporting him. And I had so much on me that I couldn't even handle it anymore. I didn't even need anyone to rescue me. I just needed people to stop throwing water on me. I was drowning. Please stop. I know I can figure it out, as I always did. That day, a counselor came to my door. Because of 9/11 and asked if I needed support. And I said, no, I get this. But guess what? I did not. It was a lot. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot. And I had not even given myself time to grieve. You know, I was in survival mode, and I was doing everything I could for everyone else. I didn't even know how I felt. I'd been in this crazy cycle before, but I had too much this time. You know, all breaking point. And again, I didn't even know anything else about crazy cycle, right? So how would I know? Do you know that January 2002, the first, I lost my best friend. And my brother died on 9/11 the same year. Two of my biggest supporters. When did I worry about myself and my feelings and what I needed? Now let me be honest, I am a nurturer. And I love anybody that knows me, knows I love being a mom and a wife and supporting and helping. That's my most comfortable spot. That's just who I am. But after sitting down and talking to her for a while, I decided to say yes. I think I need counseling, and I accept the support, and I help for myself and my family. And my business even got shut down in the middle of all this, obviously. See, earlier though, I decided to accept this because earlier that week, do you remember, I have a teenager, and he's 13. He's a pastor now, but my oldest. And I looked at him and I said, look, I am 2 days from having a nervous breakdown when we had a confrontation. If anybody's had teenagers, they can be a little much. And he said, Mom, that's what you keep saying. So I got into his face and I said, look here, son, wait till you see me 1 day from having a nervous breakdown. You know, that wasn't one of my proudest mom moments. So I knew I wasn't showing up to even be the mom I wanted to be. I wasn't showing up being who I am. So I decided that I needed help. And you know, that's power. To realize that you're not okay is okay. But to stay there is not okay. That's power. So asking for help and getting help is hard, but you got to realize that it's power. And it is power to know when you can't do it all. It is power to ask. And as I learned and I started using my boundaries that I was learning, it was really uncomfortable. Because I'm trying to figure this out. I remember one morning waking up and looking at the four walls one day and thinking, wow, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. I was trying to figure out what to do. I didn't have anybody telling me to jump here or do this or be this or do that. But I knew I had responsibilities. I still had my kids. I still had to figure out the bills. I still had all this. But you know what? I need to take care of it. But overall, I got to decide for myself. Power to me means learning to speak up, learning to make choices and be authentic, and taking responsibility for your own self-power and using it to help others. And being the best version of yourself means putting your air mask on first. Remember on the airplane? Wait a minute, I just traveled, then I got home, then I traveled again. And every time they make you put an air mask on first. And taking ownership of your own life and setting boundaries with love. Now, when you're in that situation, you can help others. You can do more. And you don't have to lose yourself in the process. Self-power is about learning who you are, knowing your boundaries, and supporting others. It's an ongoing process as we all journey and learn our own self-power. Do you know that women are often told to be quiet and they're too much? Can you believe somebody has ever told me I'm too much? People have called me charismatic. What? I'm too much? But women are often told that they're too much and need to sit down. But I think instead, we need to encourage each other, be the best us, and be successful. And speak up and be a voice for ourselves and others. Becoming our true, authentic self and the person that God made us to be. I love this saying. I want to build a community where women of all races can communicate and continue supporting and caring for each other. I want to give women a space to feel their own strength and tell their own story. Now that is power. Beyonce said that. But I love it, right? Do you know I have worked 30 3 years to be where I am today. And I jokingly and not jokingly tell you I'm everything my father doesn't want me to be, right? But the only person you can be is but be you. And so, trying to be what others think you should be, and by the way, I never could be what they wanted me to be, right? But you know what? I'm a really good version of Sherry Berger. Isabella, it's Sherry Berger. And there's 2 great resources I want to show you guys tonight. One is, I thought it was so funny, I had a friend that said they'd never heard of this. Henry Cloud, Boundaries. And there's a really awesome book, this awesome lady named Sherry Berger, not, what do you call me? I don't even know. Just don't call me late to dinner, I joked. But I have Here to There Revealed, and tonight I'm actually giving away free copies, but I'm asking people just to pay shipping, and I have the little URL code that you can just sign up. But this is about putting your life in your business, right, in order and in control and making your own decisions. But that's what power is to me. So there you go.
Yeah.